A very good morning to you. Welcome to Good Morning East Africa. I am your host, Wangui Ngugi, and with me in studio is...
I'm Felix, Aloice, Rajwai.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm very fine, feeling energized, like it's a good morning. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy that you're finally here after days of going missing.
Not too many days, but there were days of so many fulfillment also. And yeah, you've been fine.
Well, I hope that you were amazed by the tour of Pope Francis in the United Arab Emirates.
Exactly.
Well, Felix, we are children of one God. Do you believe
True.
that?
I don't just believe it, but it's in me.
Yes.
Yes.
Doesn't matter your color, whether you're white, whether you're black, doesn't matter your religion, doesn't matter your beliefs, it doesn't even matter your cultures. We all belong to one God.
Yeah.
Well, Pope Francis has marked history just the other day by visiting the United Arab Emirates, and he actually performed the very first ever papal mass in that country.
That was a story that hit the headlines, and it was one of my best ever story I've had 2019. Being just I think they are still afresh and very young to us, and I was like, this is one thing that I think the world should understand, to be very sincere. You just remember the other day there was an attack in Kenya, and they've been having other attacks in other countries, and people mostly they try to confuse between religion and faith and all that they bring division in people depending on their color and what they believe in. And I was like, really, does this make people to coexist in an informal way that you can't even live with a neighbor who is from a different religion? And I think with that visit to the UAE, I think it was the first ever, right?
It was the first ever papal visit, like no other pope has ever visited the Arabian Peninsula.
And to make it the best is the papal mass. No one could ever believe that something like that might happen in that land.
Yes.
And I was, let me say, shocked first of all, because I never thought that we had people who are under the same religion with Pope that they were in that country, to be very sincere. Because now when I looked at that papal mass, I was like, people were there.
Yeah.
A lot of people were there. And so I was like, which means sometimes we try to think like we are only trying to make people to be constrained into one issue, but in real sense they just need that freedom. They need that a platform of expressing that, yes, we've been living with you, we are here like you, we are brothers and sisters, yet we can be having different beliefs, but we still have one God. That was one of the best thing ever. I don't know if it hit your mind and your heart.
Yes, it really shocked me, first of all. Like, that is the largest Christian gathering that has ever happened in Abu Dhabi. And another amazing thing was how the Pope was received from the airport up to the destination, up to the palace. Yeah,
the palace.
Yes. It really amazed me. Like, he was received so warmly. You could see even the Pope hugging the imams, and even there were flowers being given to him. Like, he was so respected and he was so guarded. Despite him being of a different religion, he was received so warmly. How often do we treat each other like that, despite our religious differences?
I'm going to tell you something. I think this is a new beginning of a different world. A world full of love, harmony, and a world that can make us grow together. Because I read all the holy books, and we all came from God, and we all belong to God. That visit made me, like, I felt like the world is now one like ever before. People living in the world, they are now together like ever before. Did you see that nose kiss? Did you see the nose kiss?
Yes.
I didn't think that the Pope will allow that, but being one of the best cases that happen in the UAE, and he was like, I was like, oh, now look at that, look at that. That's what you want. That's what you want. Let us not have division. If this guy could come, hug, share dinner, they talk to each other freely, then why are other guys outside other countries trying to bring division because of such small issues?
Yeah. Actually, the Pope and the Grand Imam of Alsace signed a historic declaration of peace between nations, religions, and races. And they also encouraged the freedom of worship. Like, you should have the freedom to worship whatever you want, whether it's an idol, whether it's God, whatever you wish. You should have the freedom of worship. And this is what they're trying to campaign for. Freedom of worship, freedom of religion, and people having peaceful coexistence with one another despite the differences.
You know, I think this has solved a lot of cases. Cases of, you will bear me witness that we've covered a lot of so many stories about the UAE, that there's some other people who are being mistreated because of their color. They've been mistreated because of maybe their religion and all that. With that signature that they both penned on that paper, I think it's, just as I've told you, it's the beginning of something new. Because I'm seeing now a world where you never say that this person from this religion did this. It'd be like mocking God, because we all believe in one God. And having that freedom of worship, I don't know now if in the UAE we'll have a Catholic over there. I don't know. So I'm waiting to see that establishment, or it is there.
I think it exists.
It exists.
Yes.
Okay, if now we have that freedom of worship, let us also remember, in the same country that you are, we have their own jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So don't
overstep.
Don't overstep.
And do not disrespect people.
Respect where you are,
Yeah.
regardless of who you are, what you have, how many billions you own. Let me tell you, respect that land.
Yes.
We have rights. Do you call it right or wrong? We have the norms, the things in that country that they don't want to see. So if don't try to say that because Pope was there, they had a mosque, so I will.
Yeah.
No.
Speaking of new beginnings, there's this guy in Netherlands. His name is Joram van Klaveren. That name is so hard to pronounce. Well, Joram used to campaign against Islam. He was even writing a book that is anti-Islam. And guess what happened? When he was just in the middle of writing this book, he converted into an Islam, like into a Muslim. He was a Christian. He was born and bred in a Christian home, but now he has converted into a Muslim. Remember, he was anti-Muslim.
Anti-Muslim.
And now he has converted.
You know, so many people tend to judge things before they really get into it.
Yeah.
You tend like, you know everything. This is bad. This is not what you should do. This is not. And then you're like, okay, have you really tried to go into it? You know, when I get somebody speaking ill of Islam, I always ask him or her, what are you saying? Do you really know what I'm saying? Have you ever read the Quran? Yes, you're a Christian. Have you ever read the Quran? Do you know what it entails? Have you ever read the Bible? Do you know what it says first? Because let me tell you something. For you to be either on the Islam or on the Christianity way, my friend, you have to know your holy book. Because some people just jump into things. But okay, I don't know what to say, but I don't know why he was against.
Yeah, he had his own reasons.
Yeah, it's his own reason, and he has his own validation that he wants, but it's okay. But that's also a surprise.
Yeah, actually people are saying that he's like a vegetarian inside the slaughterhouse. You know, when you're a vegetarian, you don't want to see meat at all. So being a vegetarian in a slaughterhouse, that's what people are describing him as.
How are they quoting him with all that? Okay.
Because he was against Islam, and now he's in the same religion that he was against.
So maybe the lesson that people should learn here is don't be too much judgmental just by looking at the cover of the book. Can you please read the book?
Yes.
To understand? Because let me ask you, how many times have you maybe done something and then after that you realized it was not really the way I thought of? Yeah, so let people understand that. Yeah.
Well, let's now head to something about money. Can you imagine losing money because the person who was keeping it for you is dead and you cannot access it? How would you feel?
Let me first tell you something. Just remind me something. I remember we had, do you call it a bank account, a joint bank account of a certain group, sorry to say. And what happened is this. Okay, it's a devastating story that I usually don't want to talk about it. We had saved some amount in a bank account for around 2 years. We were a group of 4 people, okay, and only 3 were signatories to either redeem or do any transaction or that. So what happened is one who was our head. I don't know why God did this, but let me leave it. What happened is one who was our head, he died. And the same day he died, the next in command now became deaf. He can't hear anything. And we were like, what's happening?
This is such a misfortune.
And what we had done is, because we were 4 of us, bank account has 4 digits. So everyone had 1 digit. And we did not share with any other person. And then what happened again? Where we were keeping the amount, the bank, I don't know, it was on fire. One of us, I don't know, we were told that there was fire that came out of that bank and all that. Now, this is where the worst case is. One of the guy now, those are 2 guys. The third guy now, he's not in Kenya. I was in Kenya by that time. Not in Kenya. He went to, is it UAE or what? And then when he went there, we lost communication.
Oh, okay.
Now, when I went to the bank to explain all this, they told me we need a death certificate of that guy. We need the other guy who is there to come, and we need a call from the other guy who is UAE to come. Until today, I've forgotten about that story.
You forgot about your money.
What do I do?
I can never forget
What
about
do I do?
my money.
What will you do? What will you do? Tell me.
You need to follow up. You need to
How?
find a lawyer, go to court, things like that.
Then,
To me, even a shilling, one like this, is so important to me.
no, sometimes you need to move on. Because you cannot constrain yourself in that same situation. You can imagine now, what will I do? Because the bank jurisdiction says you have to be either 3 people.
To withdraw the money.
Where will I get the 3 people?
Oh my.
Tell me.
Well, your story is not new because there's also this story where $190 million have been locked up in an online account called storage after the founder of a cryptocurrency exchange died. So when he died, nobody can access this money. Even the wife who has been contacted cannot access it because he's saying that his password, like his laptop has a password, and she doesn't know that password. And she also said that she tried to find an expert to come and try and hack the laptop.
It can't be hacked.
But it cannot be hacked.
How much did you say?
$190 million worth of cryptocurrency. Yeah.
$190 million.
Yeah. So this guy is called Cohen. He died in India last December from Crohn's disease. Yeah.
Okay. How come all that amount was with one person? Sorry to say.
Well, I think it was like a business, but he was the guy who had the access to this cold storage of that money.
But let me be very sincere. Some men and some people are very, 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 very self-centered. Okay. How comes even the wife didn't know? The
access to the password?
Yeah.
Would you tell your wife your account password, like your bank account password, your ATM card?
Why not? Why not, Wangui? Why not?
This is people's money.
Okay, it's people's money, yes, but anything can happen anytime. Come on, as much as we're educated and we're too much advanced with what is happening in the world, you never know what God has planned to you the next minute. And how $100 something million people's money. You know, now these guys can even start telling the wife, pay us the amount because it is your husband.
Actually, I really feel for the wife. The wife is called Jennifer. Jennifer has been receiving threatening messages telling her, like, maybe your husband is not even dead. You're lying to us. He's not dead. They're even threatening her and accusing her and telling her, you cannot say that you cannot access the password, like your husband's laptop. But honestly speaking, maybe she doesn't know and she was never involved in this business. Why are they putting her in this situation? Like, she's not peaceful anymore.
Okay, I understand the situation because for real, it's same to me. If I'm in that company, I'll demand for my money. Because how do we source, you know, we have, I want to talk the reality. We have men who are existing who are too selfish. Because your wife doesn't know how many houses you have. He doesn't know which land. He doesn't know your how many bank accounts you have. So once, by bad luck, you die, everything goes like that, and you leave your family in a very devastating state.
Yes, it happens.
Just
so many
you
times.
them.
It happens. Especially the old men. You see these old men who are 90 and above, they will never tell you where they keep their money. I heard of this old man who, when he died, that's when people discovered that this guy was rich. He had dug a hole inside his heart. And that's why he used to keep all the money. Yet he used to pretend he has no money. You know, so when they went to demolish that hut so that they can build a proper house for the family, that's when they discovered money dug in a hole.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You can imagine. And maybe you find the family was undergoing very poverty. Who told you earthly riches they'll help you live forever? No one. If you have something, share. You have to help those who don't have. Let me tell you, even God cannot allow you to get into paradise if you're letting your own family to suffer. So to that guy, okay, may you first rest in peace, but whatever you did, it's not good. Now the wife. Okay, so to say the wife right now.
Or probably she knows the password, but she just won't give it up. So she wants to inherit his money.
Can you do that?
There's both sides of the story.
Can you do that?
Well, maybe she's looking and saying, okay, this guy never left me anything. And this is the only thing that I know.
So now you've changed to another side of the coin and you are very much, actually feel pity for the wife, and now I think she knows the password, she don't want to. Okay, let's look, we are journalists, so let's try to look on the other side of the coin. And if the wife knows the password, because I don't believe, by the way, in every account that you try to put amount and everything, they always ask you for?
Like the next of kin.
Exactly. Even if it's online, there's always the next of kin. So this lady should
might be knowing something.
Or maybe she doesn't know, and there's somebody else who was the next of kin who knows how to access this money. Let them investigate, because it can't just be like that.
Well, I really feel sorry for all the people who are afraid that they might lose their money. Money is so painful, it's so sensitive, you know. Nobody wants to lose. Have you ever dropped even $1 on the street and it really gets into your mind like, oh my, how could I ever have lost that $1? Like, nobody wants to lose any money.
It happens, but taking it too serious. Even 1 shilling, it's okay.
Yes. Well, something happened in China. There was the China-Africa Friendly Night.
Yeah.
It was trying to bring the Chinese and the Africans together. And during that event, there was this large screen that was displaying wonderful messages. And one of the messages, like it was written in Chinese, you know the characters of the Chinese?
Like drawing, huh?
Yes.
The calligraphy, yeah?
Yeah, and then there were translations below those characters. So the words that were on the screen, there are words like innovation, efficiency, transcendence, and there was one word that really made people keep talking about it, that it was written exploitation.
In English?
In English, it was written exploitation, but the actual character in Chinese means openness, can also mean pioneering, and can also mean exploration. So the question is, the person who was translating, who did the final checking of the words that were to go on the screen. Because if you have an event, you obviously prepare before, you know, you even get to see, okay, this is what we run on the screen, blah, blah, blah. And there are a lot of people there. And then you make this very stupid mistake of mistranslating a character that is supposed to mean a good word. And then you write down there, exploitation.
Wangui, you put it out, exploitation.
Yeah.
Africa and China relations. It's something that has been making headlines all over the globe about what Africans are trying to have a relation with China, which is good by the way. They're trying. China is helping other African countries with it to come up in terms of development, which is good. Now, on that translation, I will not blame one person.
Who would you blame?
The whole board. The whole committee which organized the event. Because there's always a dry run of what will happen. There's always a display. There's always that board that sits down. Now we will do this, we'll display this. They're like, okay. So the whole committee has a problem. But again, on the other side, I don't know why it was exploitation. So were they talking of exploiting Africa or?
Probably this was just a mistake that was known. Maybe the person did it purposely,
deliberately.
Because it comes at a time when China is being criticized. Yes, China is bringing innovation to Africa, development, but they are being criticized for putting African countries in a debt because they're doing all these development projects on credit.
But let me tell you something. What African countries are doing, and I once told you this, I think we were in another having some tea, that they're doing a mistake. When they're having the debts, what they do is they try to raise the tax of the country. You cannot pay a debt with a tax, high tax. It cannot, because those guys who are taxing high, they cannot even work, they cannot even fulfill their own way. So what happens is you let each and every asset that belongs to your country to China. So Africa is rich. Wangui, Africa is rich with innovation, with technology.
Natural resources.
Exactly. Do you know, have you ever heard that diamond is mined in China?
Not.
Have you ever heard that gold is in China? Have you ever heard what's there? It's in Africa. But why are we not using our own resources to make us go because of selfishness? Come on, those people who are in power, let's use our brains. Use our brains. These countries will not come and overpower us. Okay.
So do you think this translation was purposely done? Like it could have been a mistake, like the person might have misspelled the word exploration and written exploitation, but still it could have been deliberate. Trying to push the message that China is actually exploiting Africa.
I will not say that it's deliberately, and I will not say that it is purposely, but I'll say let us counter check what you do before you display to other people. Because I know this will bring so many controversies. By the way, check your headlines. The whole of this week. So you want to exploit us, you want to use us, you want to actually, and you know Africans, once you've told something, that's what sticks in the head. The other version that comes, it's a lie. It'll be like, now you're trying to make us feel happy.
Well, actually, we need to be careful about how we interpret things, how we translate things, because even in history, a lot of the political issues have risen from translating things the wrong way. So even when you're typing messages on your WhatsApp, be careful how you're typing. Don't type in a hurry.
Automatic typing, you know, that's the automatic phone that you do. You want to say, how are you? And it tells you something else. You click enter, you don't check because you're sure. After sending, you're like, what did I just send?
Yeah.
What happens?
Well, that was a fantastic show, and we leave you with this. Be careful. Whatever you type, whatever you write, just make sure it's the correct meaning. From us here at CBA TV, have a wonderful day.